Hello everyone, welcome to D365 Junction, your go-to destination for all things Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation have. In today's video, we will see how to set up Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation to send the emails via Microsoft Graph. As Microsoft is deprecating Exchange Email Provider as of September 15, 2024, which means your Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation environment will stop sending emails. If we talk about the reason why Microsoft is deprecating, then as per Microsoft documentation, Microsoft says the authentication mechanism that the Exchange email provider use is being removed, and the reason for is that the Exchange provider never supported sovereign clouds. The question is, are they replacing with any other feature? The answer is yes. Customers who use the Exchange email provider should migrate to the Microsoft Graph email provider for sending an emails to their teams and their client. So let's understand what Microsoft Graph basically is. Microsoft Graph is a unified API for Microsoft 365 services. It connects various services and devices within the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. It provides access to data and insights from services like Outlook, OneDrive, and Microsoft Teams. It also enables developers to build applications that improve productivity, communication, and workflow. It also offers REST API and client libraries for integration with Microsoft's cloud data. For Office 365 users, Microsoft Graph is the preferred email provider for Dynamics 365 finance and operation applications. If we talk about the permissions, then we need to have some permissions to integrate Microsoft Graph with the 365 environment. So the very first permission which is required is that you must hold system administrator rights within the application to connect the Dynamics 365 finance and operation environment with Microsoft Graph. You also need to be an administrator for your Azure Active Directory AD account. If you lack these administrative privileges, an authorized user must complete the initial configuration on your behalf. Once we know about the permissions, now we need to jump on the live steps to see how we can integrate Microsoft Graph with 365. So on the very first step, we need to register an app on the Azure portal. So sign in to the portal.azure.com by using your Azure tenant admin account. And then on the home page, click app registration as you can see in the below attached image. In app registration, you have to click new registration and then a new page with the name register an application will pop up to your screen in which you have to enter the name and supported account types. Under the name, you have to write a name that is user facing display name for this application. And on the support account types, you have to select the very first option, which is accounts in this organizational directory only, which is a single tenant account. And then you have to click the register button at bottom. Once the app is registered, copy the application client ID as you will be using this value to connect the Microsoft Graph service from your finance and operation environment. Now we need to add the permissions to this app registration. For providing the permissions, you need to go on the Manage an API Permission menu from the left side. Once you click the API permission, the new page will be open where you have to select Microsoft Graph under the Microsoft API tab. Once you click the Microsoft Graph, the new option will come up in which you have to select the permissions. These permission sections have two types, delegated permissions and application permissions. You have to select the application permissions and then search for mail.send permission and enable it by marking the checkbox. By default, the app should include the user.read delegated permissions for Microsoft Graph. If that permission is missing, you must add it from the delegated permissions. Then select Add Permission button at the bottom. Now the permission has been added with the name mail.send and the user.read. For the mail.send permission, you have to grant admin consent. So if you are not the have the admin permission, then you may ask to the administrator to allow and grant you permission on this so that you can send the emails and configure it with the Microsoft Dynamics 365 environment. Once you get the admin consent, then you need to create a certificate. For creating a certificate, you need to go on the Manage menu again and click Certificates and Secrets. And on the Client Secret tab, you have to click New Client Secret as shown in this image. And then you have to enter a value in the description field and set the expiration of the certificate. And then click on the button at the bottom. You also need to make a note of the secret value because you will use this value to connect to the Microsoft Graph service from your Dynamics 365 finance and operation environment. Now let's jump on to the Microsoft 365 environment. In Dynamics 365 finance and operation environment, you go to the system administration module, and under the system administration module, you need to go in setup and email parameters. Under the email parameters, you can see there are four options on the left side. The very first one is the configuration, which you need to click on. And from the configuration option, you need to select and enable the graph email provider ID as shown in this image. Once you enable the ID, then go to Microsoft Graph setting, enter the application ID and application secret value, which you have copied from the Azure app registration, and then click Save. Once the application ID and application secret value are saved on this screen, then you can hit the test authentication button on the top as highlighted in this image so that you can see the connection is successful or not. If the connection is does not make successful, then you have to check the application ID and secret key again. You have to use the same tenant to test the authentication. If you also need to send an email, then you can see the last option here, which is test email. Once you click this test email, then you can also see the testing of this email by sending an email to someone else. Thank you so much.